Hello, everyone. I'm Cinzia Leone, and I'm, offering this very short lesson. So, how to say short introduction to a topic that I think and we think it is of basic importance for those who would like to not only to have a grant funded, but also to enhance and to go ahead with the research path. So I will be very brief in my introduction to the topic, because I think that it is a very, very rich topic, and I don't like to overwhelm you with a huge amount of information. But please note that I'm here at disposal. You can interrupt me if I'm not, clear enough. But if you have any question, maybe we can have the question and answer session at the end of the seminar. This activity is performed within this project that you see here, EDIRE, that stands for EDI, Equality, Diversity and Inclusion, in research enhancement, in particular at SSST and in Bosnia and Herzegovina. But the project is also shared with, those that we call sister projects. That is a project called X-Formal. This is the acronym. I greet also the friends of the X-Formal project who will see this, the recording of this moment later on. And this is an action funded within the European project, coordinated by the University of Genova, by Professor Anna Siri in particular. So this is a very brief explanation of about who I am. Sorry, just a moment. Okay, so I don't see if there is anything in the chat. Maybe Mirza, you can interrupt me, because I have a small screen, so I cannot have everything in my screen. So this is what I am. Now I'm a researcher at the Italian Institute of Technology, and my background is sociology, but I'm, dealing with the European project since I don't know when, so I'm old now. And on the right side of the screen, you can see something about me. So, but naturally, I don't like to be too long about myself. Then, okay. So the contents of the meeting of today, or this event. As said, I will go through some important topics, and I think that the whole project, EDIRE, will be at disposal if there will be any other or additional or different needs related also to the present contents that I'm illustrating. Because the idea is to have something related to equality, diversity, and inclusion in Bosnia, but also to enhance, to improve, and to also to push your organization and, if possible, the whole country towards grants, research, international domain, and so on. So what is a project? The definition of a project, this is reported from the European Commission site, and this is it is a very simple concept, but I put it here because even so in English, but also in other languages, the word project is used to mean very different things. So a long list and sort of different meanings. So this is a series of activities with specific objectives, so aiming at specific objectives in a defined, an already fixed time period, and with a defined budget. So the funding is already fixed. So what is a project? A project, it is a process. So this is always the meaning that we are using today and that the European Commission wants when they speak of a project. So the project is an activity. It is not one activity, but it is a process. So a series, a set of activities aiming at transforming something. This is something we don't know. So I don't know how to say what is your topic, what is the center or the focus of your project, but you should have an idea, and through the process embedded in the project, you should reach a result. Or you have a focus on a need or something that can be ameliorated, and through this process, so through the project, you give the solution. So this is a list of the contents of the project. So we start from an idea. Naturally, we have also to write down, so to describe how the idea will be realized. The time span, we should indicate the time span. We should offer objectives and impacts, possibly sustainable impacts, so something that doesn't finish with the project. Typically, normally or generally, we have a partnership, so we don't do a project by ourselves. Some exceptions exists, for example, the ERC funds, for example, or some Marie Sklodowska-Curie actions. And we should have in mind also when we'd like to submit our project proposal, because the European Commission, for example, it is offering a long list of calls, and we have also to have an idea of how we will reach that result of having our proposal, and so on. And then if it is a case of a partnership, there should be a coordinator. So in our case, and also in the case of the X-Formal project, we have, I think that we have one of the best project coordinators that we could have, because so it is also a very, very important choice. And also we should aim at the necessary funding, not a lower amount, but also a not too high amount. So typically, but today, as said, we will just have, how to say, an introduction or some hints about the project proposal. So typically this, the European project proposal funded by the European Union consists in part B, that is what we have to write, to draft excellence, composed by 3 sections: excellence, impact, and implementation. Then there is a part in the participant portal, and it is an online form. And we should also there fill in with many long lists of information, long list of things. So please don't underestimate anything of these 2 parts, part A and part B. Then our focus should be also about how we will be funded, because the European, how, and also the procedure to reach the funding, because the European Commission, offers a very wide range of projects or typology, and therefore we should, how to say, be informed. So read, have a clear idea, and also go for the best project typology for our proposal. So, for example, if we have an already ready, sorry for the product, and we'd like to push it in the market. So, for example, I'd go with an innovation action. But if the product is not already ready for the market, then maybe I should add, for example, just a part of research. So I'd go for a research and innovation action, and so on. So I will not explain everything now, but just to give an idea. So, and also the reimbursement, because if I spend 10 or if I spend 100 on the project, then I should know how the European Commission will give me this money. So there are different typology of reimbursement, and moreover, it is important to know that the European Commission pays the overhead, so an additional amount to every kind of costs that we sustain for the project. So today is about the grant drafting. I will focus on the project drafting. The first steps that I suggest is to have a plan. Everything should be planned, organized, managed in our life, and in particular, a project proposal should be planned, because there are a list of difficult or complicated activities and actions to be undertaken. So we should have a plan with the timing, and we should also be sure that our idea can be put in the call of reference. Then also our idea should promise only what we can really realize, because in my experience, I saw many a number of projects promising everything, for example, Mars, and then they didn't succeed. Then also in our proposal, we should focus on what we can really do, because in case of success, we will be forced, we will have to realize everything. So we should be ambitious, but not too much ambitious, and also stick to reality. So stick to what we can do, also with the scientific framework. Where we are, we should refer to the framework, to the state of the art, and so on. And also, in particular, in the case of projects interacting with people or with the technology, we should also consider the worst case scenarios, as we all know, and then we should also keep an eye on the risks and obstacles or barriers that can be hinder or avoid, or I don't know, not permit to us to reach our results. Please be careful also for this, because the case of the COVID pandemic was the coronavirus virus was an example, but in our life, everything can happen. I mean, also scientifically speaking. So when we are exposing our idea in the excellence part, please stick to this figure that I like, because when we are dealing with our topic, with our domain, with our field, or with the things that we always do, for example, in laboratory, or I don't know, wherever we think, so everything is clear, but this should be clear also in our proposal. So my suggestion is also to let your proposal be read by people who is not aware, who is not a professional, or who is not a scientist or a scholar, and so on, so that you can really realize if your proposal or your idea is clear. Then, clarity. We should be accurate and clear. Please keep in mind that we will have the page limit, so we should be accurate, but not too much. But it is important to know that this is also my approach when I'm, for example, teaching, or when I'm dealing with new ideas and so on. So to clear ideas, follow a clear exposition. If it is not clear to us, to myself, then it cannot be clear for the evaluators, for those who will say yes or no to our proposal. For example, in the case that you'd like to write down a project proposal, I suggest to keep in mind this even this slide now, because I think that it is important. So these are the questions that I always pose also to myself when I'm writing. So what is the research question? Which problem I'm going to solve or to address or to ameliorate? And why is it important? We cannot say it is important because it is important, or we cannot say it is important because I think it is. So something like this, that I also saw in project proposals that I evaluated in the past. So people do it, people write it. And we should consider the state, as said, the state of the art, the framework of reference when we are writing something new or something innovative or something that we'd like to be funded. Therefore, we should also say, for example, that project addresses this one and this one. Those, I don't know, laboratory, those, the MIT of Boston did this and this. And with our project, we will do this and this and this. So we have also to analyze similar topics and also the solutions that someone has already offered. But please don't forget to have a high degree of scientific acumen. Then the plan, as said. I think that a plan is necessary. Even if I have everything in my mind and everything to me is very clear, notwithstanding, or indeed, I have to have, a plan, okay? Because when I do, for example, the initial scheme of the project, when I write the initial ideas, then I can realize to myself that I'm not offering the thing that I was supposed to offer, for example. So don't take your ideas as the best one as assumed, okay? Now I will offer you 7 steps to proceed with your idea and to reach your objective, that is to have a possible winning proposal. So step number 1 is to have an introduction. And as said, the clear path and the scientific acumen and so on is to be put there. My suggestion is to put at the very beginning of the proposal your idea and what you are going to do. Then you can analyze everything, because you can also think if you'd be in the shoes of the evaluators. So they are people like us. They are working, they don't have time, maybe they are bored because your project will be, I don't know, maybe the 10th in a day. So I think that if you, as we will see, if you succeed in catching the attention and saying what you are doing in brief in the first rows, then maybe the evaluator will be more positive. So we are human and we try to do our best. Then the literature review, as said, I don't know how you call in your different domain, but for sure you know that the state of the art, and this is a universal approach, should be at least resumed, depending on the length of your proposal. But for example, in the case of a research and innovation action, we will have 45 pages. In the case, for example, of the project EDIRE, we will have 30 pages. So we have also to deal with this, but still the literature review is important because you should also underline the weaknesses and also the strength of your idea. So to compare also what has been done and to describe your piece, your tile in the puzzle, but still the importance of this, even if it is small, of this piece in the panorama. Then the project activity. So you have, as said, you have an introduction, you have a literature review, then you will explain how you will realize your ideas. Naturally, so this is a very general presentation, so you have to adapt to the specific content of your proposal, but still these are all the questions that we can have, that we can face when dealing with how the project activity will be developed and described in the project. Then, sorry for the typo that I will correct, but there should be also a description of the field work or the research and innovation activities. I don't know, laboratories, laboratory analysis, or something that it is necessary to reach your final goal of your project. So, for example, how much data, how you will reach those data, how, I don't know if you will record everything, and so on. So, step 5, it is linked to results and outcomes. The European Commission will fund only projects that have credible and sustainable results and outcomes. So the project goals should be something tangible or something durable. So even if it is, for example, an intellectual product, naturally, so something tangible, it is not to say that you should produce, for example, a robot or a piece or a car or something like this, but still, the European Commission would like to see and to have those projects results in their hands, and maybe to reuse these outcomes and results for other projects or in the European Union or for research purposes or something like this. Then step 6 is linked to the sustainability of your proposal, because as said, the European Commission will not fund anything that will finish with your project. So if your idea, your result will finish with your project, for sure you will receive a negative evaluation. So these are also ideas that you see here in this bullet list to see and to consider the further exploitation of your proposal, or something that can arise from your proposal. For example, in the case of technology, if there can be, for example, an engineering phase, a market phase, or something to be exploited or to be further used in a sustainable way. Then there is the step number 7. This step number 7 is a transversal one, because issues and complications in our life can appear, can happen. So therefore they can happen also in our projects. So we should demonstrate that we are considering everything. So you remember I spoke about worst case. So the worst scenarios, for example, my idea is my plan is to have, for example, the laboratory analysis. Then I cannot, or I don't reach the results that I was expecting. So what can I do? We cannot say if we don't succeed, we don't succeed, because the European Commission is paying us. So they would like to see that in the case that you don't succeed in one way, you find a way to find another solution. So, for example, you should have a contingency plan, or something evaluating what you are doing, for example, accessing and evaluation moments. Then this is just a scheme. As you will see, I love schemes, and I think that they are also very useful for the evaluators, because I said maybe they don't have time, they don't have mind room for us, and then a scheme can help. So about your contribution in the scientific field. So I think, or in innovation field, I don't think that everything should be new for forever and ever, but you can also introduce and put innovation in something that is already existent. So you can see this sphere, and I use this one to show that something can be reverted or observed by another, from another point of view, and still can be funded. I saw many proposals offering new insights or new approaches and so on, and they were very breaking through, and they were considered, for example, frontier research, and they were successful. This is a very general also list of tips and hints. On the left side, you can see plagiarism, ghostwriting. So this is the time of artificial intelligence systems, ChatGPT, and so on. So please consider that everyone, and also the European Commission nowadays, they have software discovering or detecting plagiarism or ghostwriting systems and so on. And my advice is not to use this kind of intelligent system to write your idea. But still you can, but please be very attentive on this. And then respect naturally all the privacy rules, and also other ethics consideration linked to your topic or your research. Then about the language. My advice is to be neutral in your usage. So avoid to use, for example, personal indication like he or she. Use they, as the European Commission does since I don't know when. Pay attention to the gender. So if you, for example, are collecting data regarding, I don't know, participants, or you are experimenting things on the bodies of the people, please pay attention to the differences, to the diversity, and please, for example, collect disaggregated data or other things linked to this gender approach. Avoid naturally any formal slang and words like tremendous, huge, very, and something like this, because even if we think that our research is the best one in the world, maybe we cannot justify, or this is not justified with the eyes of an evaluator. Then this is how to say, just a resume of what I was explaining up to now. That is this is at least this is what I suggest. Opening your proposal with some rows, maybe 10 rows, with the objectives, the way that you will reach them, and something immediately explaining what you are doing. And then as you follow, as it is requested, the forms that the templates that the European Commission is giving to us, then you will see that you should follow this list as here presented. Don't forget, please, the logical thought, the logical procedure, process that will allow you to reach your final aim, but also that connects your ideas. Then, as said, measure the language, avoid colloquialism, and please evidence results and impact. And be ready to multiple drafts. So my experience, we submitted last week one proposal. We began to speak about the topic 6 months ago with the partnership. So it is a long path. You can also be briefer naturally, but still keep in mind that multiple drafts of your proposal will be necessary. Then, as said, what you want to achieve, this is what you have to underline in your proposal. Then your notes, if the ideas are from you, then please take notes of everything. Do schemes also by yourself, then share it with the others, with the partners, change it. But these steps, I think they are necessary, not only to clarify to yourself, but also to clarify to the others. For example, the last bullet. So in one proposal that we submitted it was September, this year, we began with an idea. Then we did schemes, we exchanged ideas, notes, and so on, and then the objectives and also the idea was totally different. But we were open and we discussed it with the partnership. Then it is always a question of time and also a question of reflection. As said, you not only you and the partnership should understand what you would say, but there will be also people who are not maybe so professional or so scientific immersed in your world. So please let your ideas be also analyzed by people who are not so adhering to the same scientific domain of yours. Use a clear English, because everyone now and we as well today, we are using English, but a poor level of English maybe can let your message be not so clear. So in my case, for example, I let always everything that I write be checked by a mother tongue person, because I think that even if, for example, I studied the languages, I had lessons and so on, my level is not so high still nowadays. Then your narrative should be interesting. As said, should catch the attention. So even if you are dealing with the math, with the engineer, or something that you can think, so it is so and it is so. Be interesting. And also watch out for mistakes, because when you read, I guess that it is with your students. So if you read that they are producing something with typos, or I don't know, something not clear, or I don't know, phrases not completed and so on. So you will think that they didn't put enough the sufficient level of attention, and this is also for our proposal. Then about the impact, this is a very, very important aspect, because since Horizon 2020, for example, this is just to underline how important is the impact part. Since the Horizon 2020 program, the Commission decided that in the case of same score, the proposal funded would be the one with the high score in the impact session. Okay. This was the case of one of our projects that I loved, and we had not fund the funds because of the fact that the other one had 0.5 more than hours in the impact session. So please consider the list that you see here. Even if we should demonstrate, do you remember the first images that we saw? Even if we should demonstrate the clear path of our research, of our ideas, of our scientific steps and so on, we should not write a tutorial. So it is not a YouTube or something like this video explaining what we are doing. This is a scientific project with science, and so we should demonstrate that we are saying everything, we are clear, we are catching your attention, we are interesting, but still we are strong also scientifically speaking. So don't put too few or too many references, because so if when I see, for example, proposals with 1 page of references every 5 pages, for example, I think so they are exaggerated. But when they say, okay, so this is when I see a proposal with, I don't know, 10 pages of Excel's part without a reference, so my question is, who said this one? What are you referring to? What is the state of the art, and so on? So put clear references. About obscure references, this one, it is, for example, these are the case of ChatGPT and those software that I explained before. So the references should be very clear and should be from with citations. So don't take anything written by someone else and don't use it like yours, because in the case of, for example, ChatGPT, there is no reference. So, or put, in particular, if you are dealing with technology, but also in the other domains, so put references from the recent past, in particular in some domains. So, and describe the possible limitations, and also remember that you should respect the space limit, and also the distribution of your wording in different sections and paragraphs of the proposal. I think that this is very important. This theme that I'm introducing now. So research is a social activity. So in particular nowadays, we can have exchanges, we can have other scholars or scientists in our field connected with us in other schools, in other countries, and so on. And this is one of the reasons why we have the EDIRE project, because we did research through also social activity. We kept our linkages, our friendships, our emails, and so on. And then we decided to have another project together, and then we were successful. So, and also, I don't know your age, but if you are going to start your career, then having important contacts or other contacts in other countries, for example, can be very useful also for your career. Then the project management for someone can be something obscure or something equals to a nightmare, but still, please keep an eye on this. So if we are dealing, for example, I took another the case of the project that we submitted last week, and we began, as said, the writing, the drafting phase and the writing part since starting from 6 months ago. So everyone should know, every partner should know where and how to contribute. There should be someone, in particular the coordinator, coordinating also the proposal phase. But still, if you don't trust the people with whom you are working, so there can be a problem. So, because the environment should be collaborative and positive. Then there cannot be a partner asking for the highest amount of budget and another one maybe working more with a huge higher effort with a lower budget. So also the money can be a problem. Then my advice is to have fixed or scheduled meetings so that everyone can arrive and be prepared and, as said, do their part. Also, the idea is to avoid poor quality. So, and also check that the impacts and the communication, dissemination, and so on are in line. Then, as said, so something it is already there, already said, has been already said, but I recall your attention in particular to the point related to a correct usage of social media and mass media, because nowadays and they are more and more important every day. And therefore we cannot put how to say we will use, I don't know, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and so on to communicate our project because it is not sufficient nowadays. And then if you're not the coordinator, or if you are the coordinator of the proposal, I think that the most important point is that everyone should be collaborative. Why we are here today? We are here today because we are offering something within our ADR project and within also our X-Formal project. But I think that it is important to reach the level of having a project funded. In particular, if we'd like to develop ourselves as a researcher. So it doesn't matter our age, our position now, but this is sure. If I get a ERC, a European Research Council project, for example, 2 million, then for sure I can get a position. For example, I can create a new research line because maybe I'm offering an interdisciplinary or transdisciplinary research avenue. Then I can pay, or I can have a team around me, or I can create at least a team around me. My personal position and also the position of my organization will have a higher resonance, for example, in the country or at international level, at the European level. Then I can have a place where I can do my research. So if I get, as said, so this is a very good idea to have, or a dream maybe, to get a ERC project, then maybe someone will create me a place where I can have, for example, a laboratory, or a place where to do my research. I will have money, and money, we know it. Money is always important in our life, and in particular when doing research. I will have a network, and I will also consolidate this network, and then I will be credible. So maybe I will be cited. My project will be used by others. So the results, for example, that I'm offering, and so on. So every component of this will, I think it is important for us and for the organization where we are or where we'd like to stay. And that's it. So this was, as said, a very brief introduction. Now I stop sharing